Question of the morning. BYU blows out TCU to move one game closer to a spot in the Big 12 championship game. Is your faith restored in the Cougars?
I believe, brother.
Frank, it was never in question to begin with. BYU's defense will take them to the Big 12 championship.
Okay. I think your offense needs to take them too.
Neil, my faith in BYU never wavered.
I guess you didn't watch the Texas Tech game. And the fact that they were in this position last year and they couldn't come up with a W, as you would say. And they got it this time. In convincing fashion.
Scott is not counting the chickens because the eggs have not hatched. Got one more first. All right, so he's counting one of them. They got two more. He's not worried about UCF. He's worried about Cincinnati.
Well, I think if they beat Cincinnati, they'll beat UCF. And get themselves into Arlington.
Case, the injuries are much better. They are a great team. A-Rod still drives me nuts.
I'd fire the guy.
44 points just not enough for you.
He's not acceptable. Never has been. Yeah. I don't know. I wish he'd take one of these jobs that he took and then quit before he ever took them. He's a bum.
Yeah, bum.
It doesn't matter who's in that position. It's going to drive you nuts. You're going to have Norm Chow at his finest or whoever you look for toward as a great coordinator. It's just that position is probably the highest profile position that's got to go if you don't score every time.
Kalani said that exact thing earlier this season.
Yeah, so, but that just means they have a passionate fan base. So you got to take the good with the bad, and I think that stuff rolls off. Guys who've been in this business for many years, rolls right off their backs. They know when they're doing well, and they know when they need to get better, or they're under the gun and all that stuff. They don't need to be told. And you've been coaching 20 years and all that, and so it's the nature of that biz, and especially for BYU too, with everything they do is such under the spotlight. It's good and can drive you crazy sometimes.
Justin, keep winning. Don't let your guard down. I want to see Texas Tech again. Well, I think you had a pretty good shot of that, Dustin.
Yeah, I think right now they're the odds-on favorite, but, when I was a kid going to school, the Devils, I think before they got to the Rose Bowl, there's at least 3, maybe 4 times they just had to win one game.
Couldn't do it.
People bought roses to the game, and it was such a big deal. We're going back to the early 80s when I was a student, and they couldn't get it done. And this conference is sick. This conference is sick, brothers. And I call you my brothers because I feel like you are. And it's not necessarily to the point of anything can happen, but things can happen. And having Cincinnati beat BYU in a football game is not an outrageous thought. So, especially at the end there, and you're gripping the ball a little bit. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, they got work to do. And it's going to be so intriguing if they get it done. It's a huge win. That plane ride next Saturday night would just be incredible for them coming back. And then all they have to do is wrap it up at home, and then they're in, and then they got their wish. Chase Roberts basically guaranteed. He went Joe Namath on that. You can find that clip if it gets to it leading up to that after that Texas Tech loss. We're going to beat them. I'm paraphrasing, but I believe that's what he said. And so you get that opportunity. And Tech knows that either, certainly both, BYU, Utah, want that chance. And when we get to that point, they were thinking, here, you got your chance, and we're going to smack you down again.
That is what they're thinking.
Yeah. But we'll see on that. I don't think BYU can play any worse. than they did. I suppose they could, but I don't think realistically that they can. But that's still 3 weeks away. And now they've got – this is what they've wanted, man, and they talked about it. They talked about finishing the deal. Okay. And that was an impressive win for them. There's no question about that, to just control the game start to finish. I mean, TCU, they're okay. They're not great. They're okay. I mean, if you look at what Utah's done, TCU, they didn't play them, but that would be as good a win as Utah's had.
That looked like some of the wins Utah's been putting on the board the last 3 or 4 games. Just complete control. You knew at halftime who was going to win. It's a late-night game. If you want to take off because you got a long drive and you took the kids, fine. Hit it.
No, you stay to the end. You've only 6 or 7 of these go home.
Yeah.
What do you go home for?
People do.
Well, everybody goes home eventually. I look forward to my grand return to home.
You had no doubt who was going to win that game at halftime.
Yeah. Right? I mean, I can't argue that's their second best win. The best win, of course, would be Utah. Right? We got 3 teams ranked in the conference. And Arizona's a good win now, too. Arizona.
That one's got to be right up there. You're right.
Yeah. In Tucson? Yeah. They could possibly go to 8-9 wins. They got a lot of decent wins on their schedule, and they got to get one more. And then it's set up. And the way they did it, they needed, not that they necessarily needed for themselves, but I think BYU does not get the benefit of the doubt because they haven't been on the stage in a while. Utah does get the benefit of the doubt because they have been on the stage recently. And with that in mind, you just look at the score and go, and they control that game. They control that team. And they look good offensively. I mean, I can argue that was their best showing in conference offensively.
Yes. The most control they've had of a game in the conference probably since East Carolina, which obviously is non-conference.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Iowa State, that was a great second half, but the start wasn't there, and they dug a hole in that one. So
right,
as much as
games, that's
end,
what they did. This was a 4-quarter performance by the offense. I really can't ask for more. And the Grizz continues to have no turnovers, control the ball. You got to love the kid. You got to love the way he plays. You just so steady. I mean, if I picked one word, it would be steady. The way he plays, you just don't see a whole lot of wild emotional swings, and that's great. That's not. You got to be who you are, and that apparently is who he is. That he's under control, which is great in terms of when bad stuff happens. Maybe you'd want him to celebrate a little bit more and all that, but you got to be true to your personality, and I'm fine with it because there's no emotional swings out of him. Body language, I've said this 1,000 times. I'm a big body language guy. He throws a pick, which have been a few, or makes something bad. He seems unfazed in terms of that's not like just sulking or thinking, oh my gosh, I suck, blah, blah, blah. It just doesn't seem like that's who this kid is. The poise he shows out on the football field at all times, literally at all times, is absolutely amazing. I mean, he had that one pick against Texas Tech, but that was like, man, we were in desperation, and I got to try to make something. I'm falling down here. Like, so what? He's trying to make a play. The game was out of hand. It had no effect on the winning and losing whatsoever. It was a bad decision, but it was also a meaningless bad decision. It cost them nothing because it was already over. And I love the fact that he was trying to make a play because he knew I'm in dire straits here. I got to do something. Other than that, wow. I mean, the mistakes you can basically count on one hand. Now, if you talk to A-Rod and those guys, he's missed some reads and all, so there's more mistakes that don't result in a turnover. But you're going to have that.
But if you got told on August 1st that he was going to be the starting quarterback for every game and that right now he would have 4 picks through 9 games, you would have taken that every time.
Yeah, I mean, on August 1st, I knew he was going to be the starting quarterback, despite what others have told you. I didn't necessarily know how he was going to play, but I knew he was going to be the starting quarterback. Yeah.
and you would have taken 4 picks. If I told you he's only going to have 4 picks on November 17th.
I heard you the first time. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, fine. And just the command, and I go back to the word poise. He really has it. I don't necessarily think that the big story is that he's improved as the season has gone on. Because I think what he's doing now is what he was capable of doing all along. I just think that it's more noticeable now because the stakes are higher in November if you're good. The stakes for every team everywhere in college football, if you're good, are higher in November. That's the reality. And I don't necessarily think the play has improved, but the thing that, and it has improved, but that's not the bigger story to me. The bigger story is that he's stepped up to the challenge as the implications of the games have gotten bigger, if that makes sense, as opposed to, wow, he's really a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, both those things happen at the same time. You get to the bigger stages, you have more experience. But I get your point, and I mean, it goes back to what you said about, you're growing up a sports fan and you see teams you think are good enough and they get right to the finish line and they can't get across it.
Yeah.
And so here they are right at the finish line. Can they get across it? Well, they're not there yet, but given what the task was Saturday, I mean, they passed it with flying colors. And Cincinnati I think we watched the way Utah handled Cincinnati and came away with a ton of doubt about Cincinnati, not as a good team, because they're a good team, but Cincinnati at the highest level.
No, they don't appear to be. I watched virtually that entire Arizona game.
Right. They're not at the highest
very
level.
reason, knowing that BYU's playing them next week. And they couldn't get it done. And credit Arizona. Arizona got it done.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars, not the only one with an impressive win over the weekend. We will get to that next. Stay with us.